Hey, who are you?
Jake, what?
Are you on dope?
Yes.
What kind?
Musical dope.
You get high?
Yes.
Off of what?
Music.
Are you on a trip or something?
Yes.
All right, Miami, what's good? This is DJ Discourse, as usual, and you listening to Fire for the People. On the line with me, Fleeta Partee. What's good? How you doing?
What's good? What's good? How you doing?
Yeah, I'm doing good. I'm doing very good, man. So let's go on and get into it. Now, you're from 206 area code, Seattle Central District. Tell the listeners a little bit about where you're coming from.
Where I'm coming from is Seattle, the Rain City, Central District. It's an area, that growing up with me was full of culture, full of promise, full of pride, artisticness, and of course full of foulness. It helped shape me as a man, as a person. A lot of pluses, a lot of minuses to a degree, but it helped form my inner strength, helped form my creative center, and it's an inspiration for a lot of the music that I create and my mind state just in general.
Okay. Yeah, I should say too, actually, I spent about 7 years in Seattle just recently until I came down here to Miami. So it's got a place in my heart for sure, man. I miss it already. So
yeah, it's one of those spots, man, that when you're there, you don't necessarily appreciate it 110%. But when you leave, I guarantee you miss it. And once you spend a little bit of time there, guarantee you'll be back.
Yeah, I was just there this weekend, as a matter of fact, speaking of being back. So I had a good friend out there getting married this weekend. And I brought back coffee. I got a lot of coffee drinkers down here, so brought back some gifts.
Oh, yeah. Right, you know about that coffee. That's what's up.
Yep, it's expensive too. Woo! The economy must be bad, man.
Right, the cost of living has skyrocketed there, but you just got to match it with your grind and your hustle. You know what it is?
Mm-hmm. Absolutely, I like that. So, speaking of your grind and hustle, we got the song "The City." I spin it regularly on my show. It's a good jam, man. I like the mix between. It's got an edgy, kind of gritty feel to the production on the beats, but then there's definitely a good sense of critical thought going on too, in your lyrics, in your lyricism. So tell us a little bit about that. What is it about your creative process that gets you where you end up, and what inspires you? Where's that coming from?
Well, I'm inspired, like I said before, by the environment I grew up in, and the way I was raised. My father was a member of the Black Panther Party in Seattle, Washington, which was one of the most influential chapters in the Black Panther Party as far as the free lunch program and the free clinic program. They ran one of the tightest ships as far as all the chapters in the countries go. So, I got into the hip-hop culture, man, early in the beginnings of it, I'll say around as early as 78, 79.
Okay.
So when I'm sitting and I'm creating a song, I'm thinking about the foundations of the culture and the positivity it was established upon. And then also at the same time, I'm factoring in my environment, which I grew up in, and what's going on around me now in society in general. And then I'm staying true to the teachings, that I was raised upon. So it's like a mix of all those things. And at the same time, there was times in my life where I was involved in the street life and those types of traps and tricks of the trade and everything. But I never want to glorify those things to my listeners. But I still want to speak from that perspective. So I'm factoring all these things in when I'm creating a song. How do I convey all those feelings, those thoughts, and those messages through my rhymes, through my writings, through my scribe? So that's kind of how it is.
Okay. Yeah, I didn't know that about the Black Panther presence in Seattle, so that's definitely interesting. That's new info to me.
definitely a strong presence for the kids of my generation growing up. Your family either worked at Boeing, your daddy was a dope dealer, or they were involved in political activism. One of three things growing up, in the 70s and early 80s before the crack era.
All right. So, tell us a little bit more about Seattle and what's going on there. I know, personally from my experience, there's a really tight culture out there. There's a lot of artists, and there seems to be a lot of give and take with collaboration and, just influencing each other. So, can you speak on the culture of hip-hop in Seattle?
The culture of hip-hop in Seattle right now, man, is popping, honestly, man. Everybody, with this invention of the internet, kind of has a do-it-yourself attitude. Seattle is the type of city where, contrary to popular belief, it's not raining every day. But if it isn't raining, a lot of times, and if it's not summertime, it's gloomy to a degree. So it something about the energy there provokes deep cerebralness and deep thought. And people seem to have a need to want to express that. Hip-hop is the biggest thing in the world right now. In my mind, it changed the world. So a lot of these kids growing up, their means of expression, they found their voice through the hip-hop culture. So everybody's kind of just taking a do-it-yourself attitude. Everybody's got something to say about their life, about society in general, about the way they're living, their thoughts, their feelings. And people are just, like I said, they're taking that do-it-yourself attitude, man, and they're going ahead and doing it. We got a lot of dope producers, a lot of dope MCs. Man, and the scene is just popping right now, I liken it to the same type of boom that was going on during the grunge era, where bands were getting together, and they had that do-it-yourself attitude, man, and they didn't necessarily want to be like everything that was going on in the nation. They wanted to take it a different direction, but they were strong about it. They were purposeful about it. And, that's kind of what's going on right now.
Yeah, indeed. There was definitely in that grunge era, like you said, there was, they had a lot of those bands like Mother Love Bone, Pearl Jam, Alice in
Chains.
All
a lot of those guys went to the high school I went to, too.
Yeah, which one was that? Was that Garfield?
I went to Garfield High, man.
Okay, yeah.
I'm a Bulldog.
Yeah, that's what's up. Shout out to the Bulldogs out there.
Shout out. I bleed purple and white.
Yeah, Garfield produces actually a lot of creative, successful types. I mean, Nate Robb and Brandon Roy were out of Garfield. Is that right?
B. Roy's a Bulldog. Nate Robinson, sad to say, unfortunately, is from that other side of town.
Oh, all right,
my bad. He's a Rainier Beach grad. But honestly, in a sense, Garfield, even if we're not producing the talent, we're the ones that's inspiring them to go hard. You know what I'm saying? Even when they're going hard being successful, they got Garfield on their mind. They're thinking, I got to outshine the Bulldog. So, that's kind of what it is. We got a pride about ourselves and our sense of high school alumni and sort of a sense of community in itself. So many to name, man. So many to name.
So, yeah. Tell us about what's going on. Tell us about the EP, the upcoming projects, anything you're going to be doing. And what are you doing? More importantly, I'm talking to you from Orlando right now, correct?
Yeah, right now I'm in Orlando, man. I'm just chilling, having a good time with the family. We came down here on a family vacation to get a little sun and fun, do a few roller coasters, and enjoy the tourist vibe. We come down here like every 2 years or something to that degree. Rent a big house. Everybody gets together, man, and we just kick it.
Okay. I like the sound of that.
Other than that, man. Excuse me?
I said I like the sound of that. That sounds good, man.
Oh, yeah, that's definitely fun. It's good for the kids, It's all about the kids, man. Watching them grow up and create memories for them. Other than that, man, I just been going hard, doing interviews, trying to build up that YouTube presence a little more, give people an insight to who I am as a man, as a person, as an MC. I got the EP coming up. Right now, the single, The City, is banging all over the country, college radio, you know, a few major stations and whatnot. Getting good response, which I'm definitely appreciative of. You know, I'm 8 years removed from the game, and I just caught that flu again and decided to come back and start expressing myself through the hip-hop culture. So I got the EP Life Music that's soon to drop here in the next few weeks. It's going to feature about 8 songs. It's a dope project. I got a few guest appearances, but it's mainly my state of mind and my expression through the culture. I got C-Note, who's from a crew called Tribal. That's one of the early 90s crews that I came up around, wasn't necessarily a part of. You know, they were more like creative competition. I got one new producer. His name is Lord Stiff. I got together with him. He was just in the studio one day, and somebody played me one of his beats, and we just vibed from there. I got Jake One, of course. He's one of the town favorites, and you know, heavily nationally noticed. I got Vitamin D.
Yeah, I should say, just to interrupt you before you get to Vitamin D, that throughout this interview we will be listening to the beats of Jake One, none other. So everybody at home, if you're wondering, man, what do you listen to under that interview? It's Jake One. So shout out to him. So all right, continue. Excuse me, Vitamin D.
I got my man Vitamin D, who's kind of like, him and Jake, man, are kind of like the town godfathers, you know, and I say that because they come from that second golden era of hip-hop, and if a producer didn't learn directly from one of them, then he was inspired by the sounds they were making or the moves they were making. That producer was inspired by those guys to go harder and to dream to achieve. And, you know, I got those guys for the soundscape, and man, we just going hard with it. The EP, it's a mix of politics. It's a mix of my expression through the hip hop culture. It's a mix of dope lyrics. It's got a little bit of everything in there. I speak from the streets, but I don't necessarily glorify the streets. There's definitely a dope hip hop EP, you know, and I kind of surprised myself with it because, like I said, I was 8 years removed from the game, and you know, I sat down, and my initial goal was to reclaim a spot that I felt like was mine. You know, us MCs, we're competitive. You know what I'm saying? So I'm hearing all the things going on around Seattle, and I'm like, yeah, man, I'm got to just fade everybody, boom, boom, boom. But as I got deeper and deeper into the project, I just wanted to help add to the beautiful things that were already going on amongst my city and underground scenes nationwide. And I wanted to make a dope hip-hop album that my kids could sit down and listen to and point to and say, man, now that's hip-hop.
Yeah, and it's interesting. I appreciate that point you bring up because, you know, I talked to my girlfriend's brother-in-law, he's about 40 or so. He's got a son and a daughter right around 10, 11, 12. And, you know, he grew up on hip-hop as well. And so, you know, we talk about that a lot. And, you know, he has that dilemma of what music really that's contemporary can he take to his son and feel comfortable with him listening to, you know, as opposed to just what, you know, the sounds he grew up on, you know. Is there something else other than, you know, KRS-One or Tribe or, you know, the Zulu Nation kind of movements and things like that. So yeah, and I appreciate that sentiment that you're coming from.
Yeah, that's what it is, man. A lot of these kids nowadays aren't necessarily getting the choices that we had, the air of creativity that we had growing up, the balance that we had that was in the music. I mean, you had a KRS-One who would come out and talk about his 9mm. Then on the flip side, he would give you some teaching of life. You had an NWA who would come and say, F the police. And then at the same time, NWA would get on the cut and say, hey, stop the violence. We're all in the same gang. So you had balance within the music. And nowadays, the balance is, you have to search for it more. Let me say that. They're not, the big corporations aren't going to put it right there in your face. It's out there, though, but you just got to do a little digging and look for it.
Where can they find you?
Man, people can follow me on Twitter, at capital F, capital P, ART, double E on Twitter. You can hit up the website, FleetaPartee.com. You can check me out on YouTube. I got a few good things going on right there now. I got a video for the city, the single that's now in rotation. I got a behind-the-scenes look at the making of the video. And there's much, much more to come. You know what I'm saying? Like I say, daily I'm just grinding, just putting together things for the people to give them insight to who I am as an artist, what my city's about as far as hip-hop culture is concerned. And we're just going hard, man. Look for me to be performing. We're just going hard, man. Fleeta Partee, Animal House Records is the entity, and we just building, man. We're just building for the culture and for dope hip-hop in general.
That's what's good, man. Well, look, it's been a blast talking to you, all right?
All right, man. I definitely appreciate the love, man, and take care, Mr. Discourse. This is Fleeta Partee, Rain City microphonist, coming to you live from Wrgp Radiate FM, FIU Student International Radio. Radio.